When most people think about DNA, the first thing that comes to mind is genes, traits, what someone looks like, or something that comes from mom and dad. But does that really tell us anything about the actual molecule, what it does, or what it looks like? Let's talk about this incredibly important molecule that, yes, determines what someone looks like, but truly controls everything in a cell and an organism.
To confirm some of your initial thoughts about DNA is the genetic material that exists in the nucleus of all living cells. It is passed from parent to offspring, and it is made up of thousands of genes that make you, you. Genes and DNA go hand in hand, as genes are segments of the DNA that code for specific proteins which have specific functions in the cell. To better understand DNA, we should start with what the molecule looks like. Now, Watson and Crick are named synonymous with DNA. However, a common misconception is that these two scientists discovered DNA, when in reality, their claim to fame is building a model of DNA. And although they are world-renowned names and won a Nobel Prize for this discovery, they probably wouldn't have been successful without the aid of Dr. Rosalind Franklin and her X-ray crystallography images of the DNA molecule. Armed with Franklin's Photo 51, which suggested a pattern that represented a double helix and a strong understanding of organic chemistry, Watson and Crick were successful in creating their model, which is now housed in London Science Museum. Since the model helped people better understand the molecule, its component parts, and its functions, let's take a look inside of a nucleus of a cell. DNA in its highly condensed form is called a chromosome. There are 23 pairs or 46 single chromosomes in human cells. However, most often, DNA does not look like an X like this duplicated chromosome. Rather, decondensed DNA is in the shape of a double helix. The double helix structure is possible due to the two strands of the DNA molecule running in opposite directions of each other, known as anti-parallel. In addition to the strands, there are other parts of the DNA molecule that make up this unique structure. Each DNA strand contains a phosphate sugar backbone facing outside of the molecule.
It would seem appropriate at this point to mention that DNA actually stands for something. Deoxyribose nucleic acid. Deoxyribose is the name of the sugar in the phosphate sugar backbone. Nucleic acid is the category of macromolecule that is made up of phosphates, sugars, and bases.
Nucleotides, or nitrogenous bases, are positioned inside the molecule. The term nucleoside refers to a nitrogenous base and a sugar molecule bound together. There are 4 nucleotide bases found in DNA: adenine, guanine, cytosine, and thymine. These 4 bases are found in various sequences to create thousands of different genes in our genetic code. However, they always bind to the same base on the adjacent strand. Adenine binds with thymine, and cytosine binds with guanine. Adenine is the complement of thymine, and cytosine is the complement of guanine, because of their shape and ability to bind with each other. The nucleotide bases are held together by hydrogen bonds, which are generally weak chemical attractions, but are incredibly strong when there are many in the same molecule. 2 strands of phosphate sugar backbones, with variable sequences of 4 nucleotide bases, bond together through hydrogen bond attractions, make up the double helix DNA molecule, which holds the genetic code that leads to the building of the proteins in our bodies and ultimately the factors that make you look like you.
We have only just begun learning about the DNA molecule, and there are plenty of incredible processes that occur as a result of DNA that we'll get to later. But for now, I hope that by understanding the structure of DNA, you have a clearer image and idea of those 3 letters, D and